This was where I was doing experiment with Atlas account yesterday. Many of you followed me. Let's go on one now. Even 4 hours. I mark this point as a point as what do we call it? All right, so that will have a favor look up even on 4 hours. And that will have been a sell. And so to what extent is this one going to sell? And one of the things with Bitcoin is that it does respect kind of area of interest very well, just like what gold does. So you see Bitcoin is still crashing. And I told us that when we look at the line chart, if you watch the video, you're going to find it. So let me look at gold. Gold should be dumping. Okay, gold should be dumping. All right, so let me look at gold XAU. So this is XAU, although that is still a bullish market. So what we have, let's take a fib retracement from this swing low on 4 hours to this swing high. You can watch me as I did my, what's this? You can watch me as I did my fib. Probably release this one down. So here I put minus, and you may not know the use of those minus till you come to my inner chord. Come to my inner chord, I'll teach more about the how to use this stock properly, and you are going to enjoy it. You will trade with it and you wouldn't want to use any other tool. Do for a trending market, so you have to understand that. Okay, so this is my fib. If you like, you can copy it. So now this is my fib, right? Now, if you look at my fib, let's go, sorry. So if I like, I just put only, what's this? Okay. Mm, Only level so that it will not be clustered. Okay. So I put only level and then so that it will not be clustered. So if you look at it now on gold, so here we have a shallow retracement. That's what it means, a shallow retracement. If this is a shallow retracement, let's quickly, because if you mix the point to point, you're going to do funny stuff. If this is a shallow retracement, so how far are we going to go? We have this candle. That was a good sign, right? And align with this is a negative candle, which means this is a very serious area of interest, right? It's a serious area of interest, but there are a few challenges. So now we're supposed to mark this way. So let's take off this guy. And this has happened. That was a good one. But what are we going to do? So we'll go down to 15 minutes perhaps. M15. So in M15 that we've come to this point, so we have a lot of job to do. So there is a counter move. All right, there is a counter move. Here we come down here. And the structure we're looking for, we've not gotten it. And this showing a kind of strength of continuation going down. Why, how? I take from here, even 1 hour, down to this point. You see that it got to the golden zone. And we have a fair value gap there. Are you hearing it? You seeing it now? Golden zone, we have a fair value gap there. However, the market now pull back here. We now have another fair value gap there. So what is going to make this market buy? One, it's either we return back to this point and break it to inverse this, number one, or we return down to this point. This is another block. And then you have a fair value gap. It's enough. So I have to combine to this point. So let me just change the color to black. So can you see now? So that means patience is required to see where this market's going to land us. So we're going to return back to this point and then fill this gap, get bounce, then taken up. Or we're breaking this to inverse this. And then before you can decide. So you have, these are this technical kind of a thing around this. Let's go to 5 minutes for more refinement. For 5 minutes, we have similar thing. Exactly, this is this. So patience is very, very key here right now for the market not to twist you around. So you want to take out this high and continue. All right, so let's go back to BTC. Do our software, you can see BTC, like I said yesterday. So you can see BTC is still selling massively. So, but this is Asia session. The gap is so wide. So here is Asia session. And we said this yesterday. We got 1 hour, we marshaled it, and then we find number one, the key level based on the retracement point. We have a rejection, then see selling down. Our BTC was supposed to go put what 15,000, 114, but you can't really give a verdict about that. So perhaps just like what we did here. So you have to be very careful about it. And so if I take just a horizontal line, the mark from here, probably if we can find a support at 211 again, and see 1 hour, you see your even your what's it called? Yeah, BTC. Funny enough, I didn't even look at it on time. Although yesterday when I was online, to talk about the rejection. And I think the software too was saying something. So let's go to 30 minutes. So that's the kind of day trading outlook. So remember what I said is that let's see if it's going to have a support here, here. Now, if you even look at something on daily time frame, so we want to look at market is bad. Yes, market is bad. You know why it's bad? Let's do something. I'll show you why it's bad. Show you why it's bad. Show you why it's bad now. Here we are. So we already know this rejection level. So take off all of this. Just put this down as like if the market retraces there and gets supported, then fine. So take off all of this. Now let's take our line. What do we have here? We're having yesterday high and yesterday low. Okay, so yeah, so it's just that the market is crazily volatile. So good. So we have a yesterday high and low. So what has happened? Funny enough, the market has opened and sweep yesterday high, yesterday low, yesterday high. Now it's in between confused environment. All right. However, this is support. So perhaps we may come down to that support again before taking a new kind possible. So where do we go from here? So today has not closed, but it has swept low liquidity and high liquidity. So to what extent? So we have to be very careful. So let's go to 4 hours to see another dimension. Can you see? Can you see the way the market is? Why? The market came, take a buy side liquidity. Went up, take sell side liquidity. Think, let me see my profit. Got a short. Oh, sure. Are you seeing? So sometimes when you are trading, you don't pay attention to those things, it's going to fail you. So we just have to now wait because if I was in the market, I already seen a fail. Of course, we take a Fibonacci retracement. And now this is a fair value gap from here to here. Can you see now? On 4 hours. So it moved massively. And of course, got rejected at the fair value gap. So a fair value gap is a key area. And it's not because it's a key area. It was respected as the market get there. So now that the market get there, so surely targeting 50%. If I'm trading and that's the instrument I focus on, now you still have another fair value gap above. So what I target on, I actually split my entry here, 50, and then the last point. So if you can see now, you see that the market has done that, what it wants to do. So the only thing you can wait for is that we have a support here. If the market or here that sweep liquidity, is it going to bounce off from there? So let's go to 1 hour. This is a refinement. You just look at important areas. So this is support, this is support, this is a support, this is a support. So probably do we come down to this point, 1111, 111, 600 and something. We'll come down there. You want to look at probably if it's going to bounce, you buy. And then that had formed a range. You see, that had formed a range. If you start coming down to this point now, bounce, that's formed a range. So you're going to look at maybe the next point, since here was not totally filled, you could fill and return back, or go to hunt for the fair value gap up at 100. And so that means coming to at that 115 I was talking about. Yeah, so go to 15 minutes perhaps. So 15 minutes now want to bounce based on this candle I'm seeing. Yeah, 15 minutes now want to bounce based on that candle. But no matter what bounce, it's just like a break of structure, and then got to pull back, what it did here, what it did here. Then you could see the market. This is a high and this is a low, and this is a high sweep of liquidity. Create another low here. Can we call that? Yes. Which one is lower? I wouldn't know. Sometime let's look at line chart. Yeah, so here is lower than this. So we're good. That is to say, this is a low and altogether high here. So it actually now came, broke this low, including this low, however. But you could have a wick that's slowed down more than that. So let's look at it on the chart candle. So you can see this wick. But what happened is that this low has been taken out. After that, you have a pullback, back into the fair value gap. That's here. And that was a sell rejection. Even if you are still thinking this is a sell, right? This is a sell, or the first police candle back to this, all this to be, and then boom, 1:3 risk reward. You're targeting your normal 1:2. You're already in profit. It's going to travel back here to this support and probably sweep this, or if it's going to sweep this, that's going to be a massive one. I'll be 1:4. Timing is very important, especially when it has to do with crypto. All right, so let's look at back the gold XAU. So I've told you. So the XAU need to travel down. Can you see now? So it's actually traveling down. Remember what we say here. So it's either we travel back to this box, or we break above this. So Mark D2 is pointing down. So let me just an example, taking small position. Is it not too risky? In such a trade, in such a manner like this, you don't take trade. You wait for the conditions so that you can have proper stop loss. Because taking trade here now is at the middle of nowhere. You probably have to wait for it to come down here. Come, excuse me, to this order block, or break this high, and you want to be taking a position. Somebody probably may tell me that, okay, why don't you look at it this way then? Somebody may tell me that, okay, Felix, why don't you look at it this way? I've looked at it that way. That's already a kind of bounce from golden zone. But something still scary after the whole thing. The market is doing what it is. But in a nutshell, this other block, I'm sure it's going to be respected because this pullback ought to have maybe come back to, well, it just tap into this fair value gap anyway. All right, so just tap into it anyway. Well, we need to have a forceful move out of this point. Maybe when you come to London zone, all right, so London kill zone can give what you're looking for. So if I see a very bullish candle now, then I can say, okay, let me take off. So, all right, so that's what it is. So let's look at another instrument, okay, let's look at another instrument. Let's look at Euro, no, sorry, AUD Actually supposed to be UHD USD Amazing. The way the guy moved yesterday was something else. Come on. 15 minutes. Just creating structure. Bah, 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 bah. I think here we have this a high and a low. And I think this low is already taken. So now, so this is a high. So I'm just going to work strictly by this. So we'll have another high here. Even though then we now create a low here. Do you observe that? Created a low here and a high for this massive low. A high. Here, this high is it up to this, so that means we'll work with this external. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we'll wait for now? Probably can wait for a break of structure from this guy to break this low. Don't mind me. So that means if you break that low, you will know to look at for sell, right? USD So look for a sell. So so let's take small position just to exemplify to you. Because this is when you get to sessions that you should be looking at. So if I sell, for instance, like this, this is small position, so just 0.03. So what should happen? All right, so let's close this guy. Okay, so now let's look at it. Short from here. And so even if I look at the entire, is 30 pips. So 30 pips, that's like $3 for each. That's $9. Is it a bad deal? No. All right, so that's the case. Ordinarily, if I fine tune, they're supposed to be above this point, but what's the difference? It's not too much. So 1:2 risk reward. So let's just leave it at this. But chances are here you have this kind of it's a point. Yeah, so, but let's work with this other block. All right, so work with that other block. And then I will now go into the trade itself, which is going to be trade panel. So position. So let's look at it. I go one by one and put my stop loss, right? So where's my 148.954? So $1. So take profit 148.029, guys. That's about $4. $4. So go to the next one. The same thing, set 1954, something like that. 148. It's actually 964. Okay. 0.964. So even small account can do that, right? So this one I could extend a little down. So this is just 148. Okay. So this one I can be very nasty about it. So because why? I may not set any take profit on this, but I need to set a stop loss. All right. 148.965. It's $2. So I can be very crazy about this. Can take you to 146.7. Just something funny. Okay. So I've done that. There we go. Close all those panels to go to my chart. Get it? If you don't get it, forget it. So now I need a break of structure because the market is actually dull, not this was a low, this was a high return. So of course there's a swift market structure shift. There's a shift already, right? But this is not the type of move that ought to be happening. Right? That's where you must be careful, strategic. And once I've taken any trade on any market, I want to stay with it to monitor so that when it break below this, you want to stack more positions. Depending on your account size and how you know how to manage your trade. Very important. Okay? So let's go to XAU now. Yeah, okay. So XAU now is actually creating the bands we talked about. Let me take very funny position. I actually want to take this funny position that time. So let's go. I need to put my stop loss. So let's see what's going to cut for me. So my stop loss is going to be below this guy. Now 3709 something. Yeah, so 3709. 09. That's the lovely thing about $30 is what I'm going to lose. So 3779. $39 no now. 3802. Just I'm just crazy, right? So don't mind me. Okay, so this is it. So what should I do after now? Nothing. I'm not going to do anything. I already know how much I'm going to lose if the market refuses to go my way. And so why do I need to now stay there? Do you understand? But remember what I told us that we should be breaking above this point before we could actually do anything. So ordinarily, because what's making this crazy is that, or we said that we should return back to this order block properly and then before we're now buying. So a stop loss will be very insignificant. And your take profit, one will be here, one will be here, one will be here. Make sense? Yes. Right? So that's what it is, and that's it. Thank you.